Welcome, everyone, to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends, we like to get in the basement, we like to give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a movie, and that movie is The Fantastic Four First Steps. Here to take those first steps with me, as always. I was not confident about that at all. Chris Trio.
Oh, Gooch, here's the thing. That was actually not that bad. So I think that was pretty good for not having it rehearsed. But I'm ready.
I was going to say something about being hot-headed, stretch.
Stop stretching yourself.
Don't.
I can see right through you.
There's not...
Yeah.
See, you got it. And you said you weren't feeling good? Come on, man. That takes some brain power that just
it's in there.
It just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
But let's keep it with you. Let's start it out. We did the rewind review for preface, so if you want to watch, we've reviewed besides that. Who's that director?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's one Fantastic Four movie that never released, but we never reviewed. But we did, the original two, Rise of the Silver Surfer and Four Stick. So if you want to go check our reviews on the other Fantastic Four movies, well, you can sure do that.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah. But Trio, what'd you think of First Steps? It's been a pretty big lead up to this. This is a pretty Phase 6. Welcome.
Yeah, that's true. Hello, greetings. Good to see you. Good to meet you. This is a long time coming, as you said. It was supposed to come out last year, actually, originally. I can't remember who the original director was. It was, I think, the guy who did Spider-Man, John Watts, if I'm not mistaken. And then it moved over to the gentleman who it is now, Matt Shankman, I believe is his name. And Gooch, I gotta say, man, after coming out of this on Friday, 2 days ago now, after simmering on it for a good bit, I must admit that this is a really, really great, Fantastic Four movie. I think everyone is amazing in it. I think Pedro does a great job in almost leading the team. Actually, Vanessa Kirby feels like more of the team leader and Sue Storm in this, I feel like, when it comes to the team dynamics. But I still think everyone was really amazing in their respective roles. I do think as far as whoever got shortchanged, it comes to the Thing for me. I wish we got a little bit more out of him.
I would say Silver Surfer.
Oh, well, sure. I guess I'm speaking more to the four.
The titular.
Yeah, I think Silver Surfer kind of got the due that I was looking for. I kind of think it's hard to not hit some of the same steps that you did in the first Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Because really that movie, Rise of the Silver Surfer, is the Galactus story, just instead of Galactus, it's a big space cloud. And, they hit some of their 2005 tropes. But, yeah, Gooch, I think you could not get a more perfect distillation of, especially the original Fantastic Four comics, to the screen other than this movie. I mean, they kicked ass for me. I don't know. I can't really say much more other than that to start. But what do you think?
I thought it was fine. It's not a bad movie, but I don't think it really did anything that kind of caught me off guard in any way. That ended up being a big deal. I didn't expect them to go after Galactus and go on his ship. I was actually really surprised by all that. I was like, oh wow, I didn't expect to leave Earth. That was very surprising and pretty cool. But we do end up going back to Earth, and I like some of I think the retro futuristic theme kind of goes really nicely into the world, and I like how the world kind of begins to break down once this utopic idea sort of fizzles out when the Fantastic Four seemingly lose for the first time.
Right.
We don't really know that, but it seems like they always win, and the expectation that they would go there, beat Galactus, didn't happen. So I feel like this peppy, energetic, perfect world kind of vibe just goes away, and they start disliking the Fantastic Four, and the real world kind of settles in. But I feel like the movie is exactly what it needed to be, but nothing more. And I think that's kind of and I feel like we were talking, and you were kind of like, well, I had different expectations for this movie, especially leading it into Doomsday and the end credit scene from Thunderbolts. I really thought we were going to see more connective tissue there. And I'm surprised we didn't, just given what we know. And I always find it strange that we, Sue almost dies in this movie. Spoilers.
I guess we should say full spoilers on this.
And it's I'm sitting there and it's a shame I know that Vanessa Kirby is in Doomsday and will not die. You know, like that always
But
kind of.
you would have believed that even if she wasn't, like, because I guess for me,
at least I wouldn't have been sure.
sure.
You know,
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
like, do I think the entire Fantastic Four is going to die? No.
Sure.
But like the threat and the security of these characters, yeah, I knew we were all gonna make it out. And I was disappointed that the movie doesn't end on like they lost. Because I think when characters lose and they kind of hit rock bottom or get low, I think it kind of makes everything more emotional. And then, you know, in later movies or whatever, we kind of build back up.
Sure.
And, you know, I guess that was going to happen in some way, shape, or form with Doomsday and Secret Wars. Like, we kind of know where this is going.
Right.
But then to be like, oh, you know, we beat Galactus. Great, cool. Love the fight. Love that he was actually like outside of his ship on the planet. Really good. But yeah, and then we just end with like, I wish kind of like Superman. I'm going to try not to compare. But with Superman, I wish like, oh, they showed the back of Doctor Doom's head. I wish that was just in the movie rather than the post-credit scene. Because no shit. You know, there was a group of guys in our theater like losing their minds like at every chance they got, and I was like, that, you know, we get to the end credit scene, we see Doom, and I'm just kind of like, really? Did you not see that coming?
All right.
Like, really? Like, and
Even
the
if
fact
you
that we didn't
it's-
even see that it was already Jay.
Yeah.
Like, if that was the first time we would have saw that, that would have been nuts.
Right.
Big moment.
Right.
But we kind of know all this is coming. So it just feels like it was exactly what it needed to be. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Stretch?
Oh, good one. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't see it. Sorry. Continue.
That's the thing. But I feel like it just could have been more. And maybe Marvel needs to play it safe. Like, I was much more emotionally invested in Thunderbolts.
Sure. Yeah, I gotta say, I don't know. I think for me, there was a crazy big emotional investment for me by the end of this film, especially when it came to Sue and Reed's dynamic and with Franklin. And I do think we saw some of the most spectacular visuals that we've ever seen in a Marvel movie in this movie,
What do you think?
especially when it comes to that scene where Sue's giving birth and they're like wrapping around the star. And you know what it really gave me?
Interstellar?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I was feeling like the Interstellar vibes, and even those moments when the surfer's like chasing after them in space and they're going through the wormhole, and when she's actually surfing on things, she
Tense.
surfs on lava at this.
Yeah.
It's tense. It feels like
yeah.
it feels insane. It feels very, you know, moment to moment, like, oh, are they going to get out of this? Like,
right.
those are those moments where I'm
Like,
on that. Those
going
tense,
back to that point where I'm like, I did not expect to be here, and we're
Right.
here. Like,
Yeah.
that did catch me off guard. But I kind of knew, like, Franklin was I think, going to your point, like, we don't know what's going to happen
Right.
to him. We, you know, if you're a comic book reader, you know he has the power cosmic. He has some pretty big.
Even I don't
picture
really
of
know
the-
exactly what his abilities are. I knew
His
he's just
abilities
super
are
strong.
that, like, he's just like really powerful.
Right, yeah.
There doesn't really seem to be like a beginning or an end of what he can or cannot do.
Sure.
So-
Godlike almost, yeah.
Yes,
like
yeah.
Galactus is saying in this. And
Yeah, so it's kind of like, okay, like, where are we going with that? And like, okay, are we going to see like an older Franklin come into this? Because we know they're going to be going to another universe.
Right.
We're in Earth 828. We're going to be going to 616. We've seen the Thunderbolts and credit scene. How do we get there?
Right. And that's, I think, the problem, with the MCU at this point is it does have people looking too far ahead in that. I guess I really loved how contained this was. That was one of my favorite aspects of this, that it ended, it started, it was very much about the Fantastic
It is
Four.
really
It's
contained.
so much, it's
Which
very
is
much
surprising.
a phase one MCU movie in the way of how it's structured.
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
a very contained story that's, I think, very well written, very well thought
Absolutely.
out. It looks fantastic. The CGI looks great scene to scene. The Thing himself looks amazing in each scene. It feels like Marvel of old in that way, and I really do appreciate it. And I think, you know, this is a property that has not been given its due. And, you know, we've talked about this before. Within the world of comics, they're Marvel's first family. They're a very well-known group of characters. They deserve their due. And to see it given to them in such a spectacular way, and such a like authentic way. I tweeted about this yesterday. Someone shared a picture of the old Fantastic Four 2015 poster and the current day one. And I just showed it to my girlfriend. And I'm like, which one do you want to see? And she's like, that's a Fantastic Four movie? Like, talking about Fan Four Stick. And I'm like, exactly.
So here's my You're right.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with you.
And I think that just shows you how far we've
Why
come.
does Galactus kind of look like he belongs in Fan 4 Stick?
Yeah.
Because I even said, I'm like, he looks like he got ripped out of Man of Steel or something with that color palette.
It's funny because did you see the pictures of him in costume?
Yeah.
Like the costume
it's a bit more bright. It's not Fantastic Four.
I don't know
bright,
why they felt they had to darken him. That's a good point. But even just the fact that, I guess because he's a big, silly man who eats planets, maybe you want to make him a little bit more imposing.
Ralph Fiennes in the suit does look funny.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like when you don't light him properly and light him a bit more,
right? I'm like, he looks
intimidatingly
so goofy in that thing.
He looks goofy, and I think that's fine. I think that's what they have to do. But again, I just appreciate that we're in a year, Gooch, where we got 2 movies within this and Superman that are unapologetically comic book films. They're not like trying to be like, this is superheroes but the real world, or like they're not trying to put like this like spin on it of like it's kind of real. No, it's just we are almost directly translating these characters from comics to screen as like one-to-one as we can, especially with Fantastic Four. I mean, dude, their suits, the colors on everything, the like retro futuristic style. They never say what year it is.
Yeah.
But it feels like
I kept looking for that because you asked me a few times. I'm like, no, they definitely didn't say it.
It feels like Fallout Future to me. Like where they like it's the year 2025.
Something deviated right around.
They focused on other types of technology. They have flying cars now. Reed's just messing with teleportation. That's becoming normal. They go up into space like it's no big deal. They have artificial gravity and stuff. The Thing, I do love seeing the Thing be like the pilot of the group and stuff like that, and even seeing the whole group be smart and like have their own kind of moments. And I didn't feel like the comedy undercut anything.
Dude, there really isn't a lot of it.
No.
It's like the movie is like pretty serious.
Yeah, there's like a few moments.
I mean, there's some comedy between Johnny and the Thing, and Sue with those two.
Right.
Reed is, I think, is as not funny as you would expect him to
Absolutely,
be.
yeah.
There are some moments, like when he's with Franklin and he's talking about, kind of like looking into his powers, and he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna not do that.
Yeah, no, I really like
he
that.
Like pees, and he has like a line about that.
But it's natural. It's like that moment in the Batman where I can't remember, they're talking to like the Penguin, and I can't remember what joke he makes.
Lorada.
Yeah, he's like, don't you speak Spanish or something?
Lorada, you kidding me?
Yeah, like and it gives you a chuckle because, or even like the thumb drive thing, just because it's a funny moment, but it's not like you're undercutting anything with that comedy. So it really did not feel like an MCU movie in that way to me. The
writing is great. You're right, and this is the best Fantastic Four movie. Not that bar was extremely high to begin with, but I think like this and the original Fantastic Four from 2005 kind of almost sit on a similar ledge. They're very similar movies, because I told Trio, like, as soon as it ended, I'm like, not a lot of action. Like, it's a lot of drama, different drama compared to that first one. In the first Fantastic Four, it's a lot of like the typical normal family dysfunction. And like,
I feel like they focus a lot more on the conflict in those movies rather than just them being a loving family. Like, especially with like the bickering family stuff.
The conflict within the family.
Exactly.
In this, it's more, the family is very tight-knit, and it's more the outside conflict that's creating the drama. We don't necessarily see them like bicker and like be normal. Again, there's a utopic vibe with this universe.
Definitely.
And that utopia doesn't dissolve until they come back from space, and it's like, and Reed stupidly goes, we lost, and they asked for Franklin, and we didn't give it to him. I'm like, oh, dude, you just totally, I don't think you should have said that.
I don't either, but I think that does speak to his character, like within the film, of like, he's not going to lie to these people.
Or maybe not even that, but like maybe his naivete.
I don't know. I don't feel like it's. I feel like, again, he wants to be honest with the people he's protecting, and he does genuinely care about Earth, and they seem to be the only superheroes within this universe.
I really like it. They're again kind of what the Fantastic Four are in those first two.
Absolutely.
But they're like, imagine if you're like a movie star, like a military hero, like a scientist. You're basically the founding fathers rolled into four people, and you're like the greatest thing since sliced bread. Like, I really like the way they idolize them.
Well, who they're supposed to be like inspired by in this? Like, it's like Beatlemania. Like they are almost the Beatles of the time.
Yeah,
in that way.
But I think like the founding fathers is more apt because they're in the political, they're some into science.
No,
like,
for sure, but
really
they're celebrities too. Is the thing like whereas
I mean, it's kind of hard to compare. We weren't there. Like I think the founding fathers were celebrities.
I'd be curious how many people. Yeah,
Of
like
the
who
day.
knows? Like I don't know.
Yeah, like,
and it's
I don't
there
know.
is like the one I know there is,
Or at least like Ben Franklin, because Ben Franklin was like a Leonardo da Vinci. Like
Sure,
he did
yeah.
all these different things. He was known for a lot of different things,
Right.
not just the revolution. It was the science. It was the womanizing. Like there's a lot of.
I wonder how much he was known for the woman. Especially back at the time. Yeah, like that's always so interesting to me. But I really love Sue. I just love the whole team's dynamic because again, it's really focused around being protective of Sue and Franklin, and they really are just like a family. They're Johnny and
I
the
love the scene where
uncles.
she goes out into the crowd. They're like boycotting or
They're
protesting
them, yeah.
outside the Baxter building.
They're
and
like,
she
give
goes
up the
out-
kid.
and she kind of like gets real with them. I really like that. I think that the performances are all really good, especially
so strong.
Ben. And you hit it on the nose when he came out of the theater. He's much more than a sad rock man. I mean, there are those moments of like unsaidness of like, yeah, he is a sad rock man. Right
Yeah,
now,
like, I mean-
but they don't dwell on it
Right.
like the other movies. Kind of,
Yeah.
like you kind of have to do that. You
I
know,
think
like
you
that's
do.
a part of his character.
And I think there's ways to do it that make it less like his total character. That like, so there's a problem for me, like with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, in the way of like, Spider-Man's not a sad character, but if you just watch those 3 movies, like they compact like every little sad thing and terrible moment in his life into those 3 movies. So it feels like he's always pretty down. Whereas like, I
Especially
feel
in
like
2.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Whereas I feel like that kind of happens with The Thing, where it's like we're always focused on him dealing with kind of being kind of a monster. And again, that is very central to his identity. But I appreciate that we're 4 years into this timeline and he's kind of accepted it. And even that moment with Reed where he's like, I should have fucking known. He's like, Reed, you couldn't have known. Like, I'm disfigured and I look like a big scary rock person, but this isn't your fault. We're doing the best we can, and we'll figure it out. But I think that characterization works more for me, especially comparing it to those old movies where we see that so heavily. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like how the movie starts too, because I was curious. I'm like, are they the Fantastic Four before they go into space? And they are.
Yeah,
They
like they're
are
a group of
they seem to be very well known and highly regarded before they go into space, and they come back with powers, and I think it propels them onto another level of fame that they have. There's TV shows, there's toys, like the in-world the in-world I don't want to say marketing.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, that's the word I want to say, but like I don't know, the shit around them. I think we see a little bit of that in the early like MCU movies, but like not too
even
much.
The early Fantastic Four movies,
But
they have like action
and
figures.
I feel like it replicates real life, where it's like, okay, there's a Superman comic, and like there's the radio serial, and the TV show, and the action figures, and it's Superman, right? Or we're talking about Superman, but they feel like Supermen, like that level of hero, and like the way they're like the world kind of revolves around them and what they're doing, not just as heroes but as scientists and as thinkers.
Even Reed has his own little what's his name?
Bill Nye.
Yeah, Bill Nye type thing. And
yeah.
I like the moment with Ben when he's walking on the street and the kids ask him to pick up the car. Johnny, I think, actually has some really good moments in this, especially with the Silver Surfer. I like this whole storyline of deciphering her language and that moment at the end.
My worry about him was a bit misplaced.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, he talks about liking girls a lot, which is kind of interesting. Like if you think about it, yeah, I'm like, do you,
they aren't showing you too hard.
I mean, but it's kind of goofy
girls
that he's like, I love sexy aliens. What can I say?
Yeah. Well, no, I think he's at one point he's like, yeah, I'll shoot the sexy alien. What's the big? Don't tell me how to shoot the sexy alien. I think he's fantastic. Pardon my pun.
Joe Quinn. Yeah.
I really love to see him getting all these roles. He was just in Gladiator, as we mentioned. I feel like he really took off in Stranger Things, as we mentioned before. But I do just appreciate how just slightly different each one of their suits is. Like with the collar and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Again, the bright blues and just the belt and all the silly little knobs on it that don't really make any sense. They have the white gloves.
You like the detail.
It's fucking amazing. And again, we would have never seen anything like this 10 years ago. We got I do think the 05 Fantastic Four is as good as you could probably get for that era when it comes to like who was behind the scenes and what decisions are going to be made. But you would never see anything even sort of like this before. And I just appreciate that they did, commit to the retrofuturistic thing and just make it its own separate, entirely contained thing.
Does Galactus usually have a ship?
I don't know how that works usually.
I was like, what the fuck is this thing?
I like it. So, like, yeah, it seems to be
I was like, is that Battle World? Like, what the fuck is that?
It's like processing the planet, and then he has those tubes on his back that like feed it into him.
I thought he kind of just did that on his own somehow.
No, I think because like when he's sitting in the chair, you see like the things hook off.
Yeah,
him.
and then Reed when
like
he's attacking
opens
him,
one. Yeah, he seems to be like melting the planet down, and then that's what feeds him. And I like this idea that he finds Franklin. And he's like, oh, he's powerful enough to take this curse away from me, basically.
Yeah, so they kind of explain that he is like, he seems to be something multiversal.
Well, so in the comics, I know like he exists before and after each universe. Like he is the last thing in the universe before it's snuffed out, and then the first thing. Like he is an entity,
Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Yes.
You can't really kill. There's even a comic book I think where Punisher tries to give him a penance stare, and he can't because he's like. He's not like he doesn't have any sense of morality. He's not doing this because he wants to. Yeah, he's just doing this because he has to. Like he is a thing. He is a force.
Right, and they kind of like allude to like something there, which I kind of liked because again we're in this like multiversal state, so it makes sense that like maybe he knows something or like what's coming.
What do you mean?
What?
What are you saying? Like who knows what? Like
Galactus knows something about I don't know why he's doing it. Exactly.
Well, yeah. Well, that's
like he's serving a purpose.
Right.
Like he's a servant to like the order of things.
Right.
And like the balance of order and chaos, and like he has to eat these planets to sustain himself, but also there's something bigger at play for why he's doing it. He doesn't want to do anymore.
Right.
So he's like
he's tired of it. Yeah. It seems very vampiric in the way of like the hunger hurts, and he's just sick of it. And he's like, oh, I found a being that is powerful enough to take up this mantle. I don't know how that transfer works, but yeah, Ralph Ineson, man, is
that how you say his last name? It's Ines. Ines.
Oh, it might be Ines. Then I'm getting it mixed up with something else. His voice is perfect.
He's in Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, he's in Nosferatu too, and he's in a lot of Edgar movies. But yeah, no, he's been around a bit.
Yeah, I knew he plays Sid in that, and like that's how I knew him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, when he got cast, I was like, oh shit,
right,
cool.
Yeah,
and then to see him in Nosferatu again, yeah.
I mean, the voice is just perfect.
Yeah. I like the fight with him in the street and the plan. I love the fact that like they go out there and they fail, but then they rally the entire world. It really feels like this like World War II level event where like the entire world is sort of coming together to save themselves. Mm-hmm. I just find it really interesting the way that all happens, and they build the teleporters to ultimately like immediately fail, like not even like a glimpse of hope there. But
I do like that moment of the surfer going through all of them and just taking them all out. And yeah, then again, Reed has to kind of think on his feet. I do appreciate that Reed is the major intellect of this, and he's trying to figure out the larger problem. And he has to move to plan A, from A to B to C to D, and then he still figures it out. But then it takes the rest of the team to kind of execute that. And even seeing Sue's powers like on full effect, I love the effect of her.
She is the most powerful member of the Fantastic Four. I think one of the most powerful characters in the MCU, right? Not in the MCU, but in Marvel. Mm-hmm. Dependent, but like I
was waiting.
I was waiting for it.
I was waiting for the blood to drip out, and I appreciated that they didn't do it. It's just like, no, she's drained. She just pushed herself way too hard. And then, yeah, I don't know. Even without like them being in Doomsday, I was gonna be like, "There's no way in hell Sue was actually dying here."
Yeah,
you just on the first movie, you know what I mean? But I think that is a fair point in saying like, no, and it's happened. No.
It happened with Thunderbolts too, because we got that the chair reveal video, and it's just like, well, we know these characters aren't dying,
right?
So like, yeah, and again, I think we were talking about it when we were at your house before we went to go see it. It's they're writing these movies as they go, so like they're not as like cohesive as maybe it seems like.
Well, and this one I felt like they actually did put in the time to just write this movie, and like they weren't worrying about the connective tissue. And I think that is why it's for the better to a degree and a more contained and satisfying film, in my opinion. They just focused on the Fantastic Four, and they have the regular Doom set up in the post-credit. That is classic Phase 1 MCU plan to the T.
Again, I'm fine with what they did and how, and like it's not that, it's the how.
Yeah,
I'm like, we should have saw his face. You know?
for sure.
Like, or he should have said something. We should have clearly
It apparently
known.
is him. It's not a stand-in.
Oh, so
Yeah.
I heard. I don't know this. It's definitely probably a clip from Doomsday. Like,
Well,
the Thunderbolts.
yeah, they filmed it
was.
later. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, because I think it's 4 years later too. That shot. So Franklin, yeah. So like some time has passed.
So then they would have been them for the Fantastic Four for 8 years.
and
at that
only
point.
Vanessa Kirby's in that scene. So I'm curious if like she was the only one available. It's like, okay, this is what we're gonna. Well, actually, just kidding. If it was during Doomsday, that wouldn't.
Well, and I'm guessing, they know who Doom is at this point. Yeah, he did feel like the biggest absence. There was a moment when they're at the like assembly for the Future Foundation where it pans
the lab
across.
area.
It
Chair.
was funny. Even my girlfriend's like, "Why did they focus on like the empty chair? What was that?" I'm like, "That's like where Doom's from."
That's Dr. Doom, babe.
That's
We'll
Dr.
see him
Doom,
in a
yeah.
minute. We'll see him in a few
He'll be
minutes.
around. There was one other thing. I did like the lead-in. We got 2 superhero movies.
Yeah, they
where
kind
this
of
year-
like tell us the origin, which
Well,
is fine.
We got 2 superhero movies this year that I feel like the movie respected our intelligence and was like, these characters. Just we're going in.
Yeah, it was more set up for the world than the actual Fantastic
Right.
Four. Like,
Well,
this is kind of where we are.
And it was funny. I feel like I actually called this in one of our last interviews or one of our last podcasts where I was just like, they'll probably just do like a newscaster lead in where they're like, the Fantastic Four. Look at how much they've saved us over the past
the
4
Mole
years.
Man, the Red Ghost.
The whatever that big thing, like the classic monster from the
Giganto.
cover. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's all that shit.
I'm
it works super
surprised
well.
they mentioned Red Ghost, even though they cut Malkovich's.
Again, I don't think he
role.
was an important. Like he was just
No.
a
Yeah,
villain they were
yeah.
going to beat at the beginning. I think.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
And you do still see the apes, which I think is funny. What do we think of the stretchy powers?
I mean, I was like trying to pay attention to it. Like, you don't really see it a lot until the end when
Right.
he's fighting Galactus.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I saw enough of it to honestly critique it one way or
There
the
was
other.
one scene when he's in his God, why am I already forgetting his show? Like when he's talking to the kids and he stretches his arm out to go to the corner of the board, and I was like, "Ooh, that looked kind of weird." But other than that, I think the CGI in this movie really did look awesome.
The suit ripping when Galactus is ripping him apart.
That didn't make any sense.
I think I understand that Mr. Fantastic probably has a limit.
Does he though?
Right, yeah.
Well, I don't think he
know.
does. Like I would assume that he does. Like I don't know. And it didn't seem that. It looked like he was stretching longer, Gooch, when he was reaching for things. Then he got stretched longer by Galactus. I don't know. I think that part was the only part where I was like,
I love how they were talking about when Reed wants to move the Earth, and they're talking about that plan, and I'm just like, I like slowly turn to you, and I'm like, he's gonna create an incursion.
"Oh, I didn't hear you say that. What's that?"
I didn't say that exactly, but I'm like, remember what Reed Richards said in Multiverse of Madness when an incursion occurs when 2 worlds like collide and they either destroy one or both entirely. I'm like, are they going to move Earth into 616?
Oh, I see. Like
that's
dimension,
kind of-
like it wasn't. I see. Yeah,
like by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Oh,
that's
it would
kind
be like Nega Earth, like on the other side of, or I can't remember what it is in that Spider-Man show. He gets transported to opposite Earth. It's the Earth that's on the other
That's
side
where
of the
he's like a
sun.
badass
Yeah, and it's
Spider-Man.
like a future. Yeah, it's like future Spider-Man.
Yeah, and
that's
he's
funny.
like, I'm fucking badass.
Oh, Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man Unlimited, I think.
Yeah, but like that was kind of what I was thinking, because I'm like, oh, like holy shit, like that would make a lot of sense. Then like the worlds, we're gonna fight the other Earths. Like, what if the Fantastic Four then fight the Avengers
Right.
to stay alive? That was like a big like holy shit moment.
Yeah.
But then like obviously didn't go that route at all.
For sure. Yeah, and I'm interested about the greater world here. I guess. Yeah, there's no. I would love to.
We're not gonna get.
We're
too
not going
much
to get
of it.
anything
Yeah.
else, but I would love to just see concept arts of what heroes look like in this world. Like
Well,
like what does Spider-Man
I'm
look like?
kind of
in-
okay. It's just being them.
No, and I agree, and I think
that's
that's
like more interesting.
And I think what you said
Almost.
earlier is very much true. They're trying to homage back to the original comics, where it was just them, and they were doing wacky, wild science fiction adventures
With like goofy
and the
villains.
scrolls, and like they're it's very almost Jetson-y looking, almost. I don't think you could translate the Fantastic Four better, especially this era, from the comics to the screen if you tried. And I do think this harkens back to, I can't remember the director of Ant-Man. But he had a
Oh yeah, John
Peyton Reed.
Watts.
No, Peyton Reed. John Watts is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He had a script for Fantastic Four back in 2005 before they made the original, which I think is almost this, to the degree of like, it was, I think, set in the 60s. I think everyone was already going to be, powered up. It was going to start with like them sitting at dinner. It's like Sue, Reed, and Johnny, and then like they're just having family dinner, and then the Thing walks in like as the Thing, and you're like, oh, okay, the power thing already happened, and then it leads very much into that. So I think it's very much inspired by that.
A lot got cut on the cutting room floor.
I see that, like
The trailers really are emblematic of that. You know, the scene where we have dinner always at 7, and I saw somebody post that. I'm like, oh yeah.
They said you're late, but again, I think that comes down to the idea of they want to use things to just get you in the movie, but they aren't. Like, that was never in the original cut, in my opinion. They had things set up, and then they used pieces of other things that they filmed within the trailer.
They hide it.
Yeah.
So I kind of tend to disagree with you.
Well, that's just CGI. They're just doing that to hide it in the scene.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
True.
So, like, that's not hard to do.
They shot it. If they knew they were only putting it in the trailers, why would they?
Well,
have
no,
her
I'm not
pregnant?
saying they didn't know. Like, I'm saying, that you shoot everything you think you might need, and then once you get to the final cut, you take the scenes that they. And he did
all
talk
I'm
about.
saying is we know an entire character was cut out of the film, and just from the trailers. So I'm curious why it got cut down. It's a pretty short movie.
Right.
It doesn't overstay its welcome, and it definitely doesn't feel too short.
But it's even like that's like he's not like he's a character, yeah, but he's like like I don't know. I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
So I don't know though. I'd be curious to see what that what a 2.5 hour cut of this looks like for sure.
We talked a bit about Silver Surfer, but like her origins. Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean I don't know. It's not. It's
Right.
basically the same idea except for there's no like it's not for her lover. It's for her kids, which I think. There's this weird thing where people feel like I don't know, movie companies and producers, all that bullshit, movie companies feel the need to get rid of like I don't know some of these like romantic connections. It was even in like Spider-Man, the second animated one, where Gwen's like, my friend Peter died. Like, you mean your boyfriend? Like, what do you mean your friend? Like they almost feel the need to take out like the romantic like connection, and they do it here again with like she's not trying to save her lover, like she's trying to save her family. Okay. Like, again, it's not like a major point or even like something that's going to make a huge difference. But I don't really get why you don't just make it like, I can't remember the original Silver Surfer's name. Like, I don't know why she's not like, she doesn't leave to protect him or something like that. You know what I mean? But does that matter?
No.
Right.
No.
So.
And but you think we're going to see Galactus again? We were talking about that when we came out of the theater.
I mean, they didn't kill him.
Right.
And then same with Silver Surfer. Like, I think we're going to see her again. I think that
at least in Secret Wars or Doomsday.
It's probably going to be like a Lord of the Rings type situation, Balrog situation. They go through the portal, and she's like, "I fought him for 10 days, like through the depths of wherever they are in space."
I love when
stuff
she gets
like
trapped in the wormhole and the way she like gets sucked in there.
I think that whole stretch, and even the scene of Sue giving birth, I got like sad for some reason. I don't know why. I got like choked up. I was like, "This is like beautiful." I don't know what. Yeah, I really thought it was like they're in space. She's just trying to give birth. Reed's trying to stay with her and just be with her, but like. The thing's just trying to slingshot them around a star to get back to Earth. Again, huge Interstellar vibes in this for me, especially when it comes to the visuals.
I have one more thing. I think I would say high tier movie though. By the way,
I'd say a low tier film.
Okay,
yeah.
It's all there's this real sweet spot.
I'd actually say no. Actually, scratch that. This is a mid tier film for sure, easily. Yeah.
That's big.
I'm actually teetering on high tier.
Okay. The Jack Kirby stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting that they decided to pay homage to him the way they did. With the, they have a thing at the end. There's a quote for him, and I think it was really because of the Thing.
Well, the Thing's one of his favorite characters. It's like the one that he made that he I feel like invests the most of himself in. Fantastic Four, he had a huge part in creating. Probably created most of them.
I think he has a bigger part in Marvel than.
Oh no! Well, and I think
the public seems to understand.
Definitely, I mean, Stan Lee was for sure the face for a while, and I think to Kirby's detriment in the way of like he doesn't get that type of recognition. Yeah. I think from comic book fans, everyone who was in the know knows that and is aware of his contribution. Right. Yeah, and he did have to fight to get his name put on it for a while. I know they settled back in 2014. Rob Liefeld makes me laugh so hard on Twitter. He's such a scorned lover. He posted something about it. It's like, just a reminder. It's like, yeah, we know. I mean, most people, I guess, within the comic book sector do know. But I appreciate that they did give him that, recognition at the end. I do think it's funny.
Yeah, and they named the Earth after him.
And I think it's funny Vanessa Kirby is in this as well. That's just a funny little, just happened to be happenstance.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was interesting because even since Stan Lee died, there's really not a lot of references to him at all.
Well,
I don't know how you could do that, but he gets like a quote at the end, and they show his birth and his death, and it's just like it's not random. Like I said, but it is like now all of a sudden, you know, I mean, we've had a lot of Marvel movies. I'm sure he's been heavily involved in characters we've seen before, but
I think this specifically though, like, held a special place in his heart, like, and that's why they wanted
right,
to do
because
this.
the Thing
like,
was him.
Well, the Thing, and also I do think, you know, the Fantastic Four in general, he just very much cared for, and he gave them their identity, especially in those early days, and especially when it comes to what we're seeing in this, like the cosmic elements, and even just those moments, you know, they're very interstellar in space, but at the same time, those interstellar moments are very Kirby. They're super cosmically weird and you know, fantastical, and you know, Interstellar is much more realistic, and this feels a bit more realistic. But yeah, an image of Silver Surfer surfing through a fucking black hole, that feels so Kirby and so interesting and cool. And you know, we wouldn't have these characters without him, and I appreciate that they're giving him a bit more recognition that he deserves, especially like we're saying in the general audience space.
Do we know the box office?
I think it. Yeah, I actually just liked. Thank you for bringing it back up.
No problem. It did a good preview.
Yeah.
It was the top of the box office this weekend, which obviously,
Right.
Superman's been out for 2 weeks.
Finished at $218 million for the global box office.
Superman did 225, I think.
Something around there. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
kind
think
of
it's
figured
doing,
they're going to be pretty close.
Well, I think it's doing well here again, but I think the internet, like China, I think it opened very, very low too. Some of the international box office might just not be doing as well.
Superman is much more of a CGI fest than Fantastic Four, I would say. Would you agree, or maybe not?
I don't think I disagree.
Think about the Chinese market and what
with,
they like. They like just like big bombastic.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think also, you know, there's some understandably like not so fun American sentiment right now. I think that especially doesn't help with, and James Gunn even brought that up, like with Superman. I don't know exactly what you could attribute that maybe with Fantastic Four. I don't think that's as very much of like an America linked like type of thing.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I really don't know.
Since Thunderbolts was a flop, quote unquote, I'm interested to see what this does.
I am too.
And like how Marvel.
I do think the power
it.
of Pedro Pascal is large and in charge, and I think that's helping a lot.
I made an executive decision not to talk about him and his anxiety, but I think I might have to talk about it now. Once I started watching the movie, I was kind of fine with it, but like the fucking press tour with him and Vanessa.
But why
Kirby,
do you? The thing
strange.
that I don't get with you on this is like there wasn't any of that like vitriol for Vanessa. Like she's in it just as much as he is. Like
yeah,
she's
very
contributing just as much.
Because he's the
of
man.
Yeah, exactly. We are sexist here at
because he's the man.
he should know better.
She's carrying some other dude's baby and engaged.
That's
and
very
like
belittling of Vanessa Kirby. Huge.
I'm curious to see if actually anything comes out of it because he's such a huge star. He's like on top. He's in everything.
Can I be honest? No, I don't think it will. I think it's completely already passed. He gets 1.6 million views or likes on his stuff, and he's fine. No one cares. I really don't think it's going to do anything.
No one cares.
Sorry, I should say not enough people care that I think will affect his
I did notice because I've noticed it before, and I was just like, yeah, him and Vanessa Kirby are all over each
super
other.
touchy. It was very odd. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I feel bad for whoever her fiance is.
I agree. I will give Pedro Pascal credit, though. I think he was amazing in this. I think he disappeared in the role for me.
I didn't really think he was standout. I think everyone did excellently.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone like really shined over the other. I think they're all like very much on the same field. Like I would not say Pedro Pascal's best role. Like
I agree.
I think like from what I've seen him in, I'd probably say Joel. You know, like
I think
from The Last of Us,
Vanessa
I think that's his best
Kirby
role.
is probably my standout in this for sure.
I think what's cousin's name?
I need to look it up.
Eben
Moss
Rackbach or something like that. Yeah, sorry, Evan.
No.
I think him is the Thing. I think he was excellent.
Dude, he was great.
I think he really shined for me because I feel like the Thing is like such the bottom wrong character of the Fantastic Four usually.
Well, it's I actually don't even. I think he gets the most play in those original movies, especially. And I don't know. I think there's the most to work with there, because he is dealing with such an outwardly troubling disfigurement, whereas everyone gets to hide theirs. I mean, Sue just gets to turn invisible, Reed can just stretch whenever he wants to, and Johnny gets to flame on. No flame on this whole movie. There's one that when it goes, the only time it happens
is it in a trailer?
It's the action figure when he's flame on, but that's it. He never actually says it, and then he crushes it. Yeah, which is good. But
no naked Sue Storm
Thank
stuff.
God. Yeah. I do kind of.
She does kind of disappear when she gets like agitated, which I found funny. But
right,
the part with the baby in her stomach when she goes invisible was a bit weird.
I thought it was kind of cool.
I'm like, but I'm in Death Stranding. fine with, watching Lou like roll around in the fucking pod.
Well, and Samira's was funny. She's like, why is it all pink and purple around inside? I'm like, because I don't want to show the actual like stomach lining. Like they're just making it look pretty and just so you can see the baby. Like it's just, he's just using her powers.
When the baby comes out, it looks pretty gross.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a brand new baby. And,
it looks like fresh out
I
of the
do
womb.
think we still have not yet quite perfected the CGI baby. For the most part, it looks fine.
Oh,
but
the baby had some moments where I'm like, that
when
looks
it's
weird.
crawling on Sue's like chest, it looks better when they do it from like the profile side.
Yes,
but, yeah.
so it must have been a combo.
For sure.
The real kid.
Well, I'm sure
and
there's when it's
CGI
just
baby.
holding the kid. Yeah, it's actually there. But I did love how much Ben was holding the baby too. And there was a good joke, I thought. Again, just a moment of levity where he's like, "You're supposed to sleep when the baby sleeps," and then Sue goes, he thinks the baby actually sleeps or something like that, which was very funny. I'm trying to think. I think everyone was really just great, and I think you could not have nailed a Fantastic Four movie better. Genuinely.
What's our next MCU movie? I know Eyes of Wakanda, I think, is technically the next project. We never reviewed Ironheart.
No, I thought we were going to once we finished it, but yeah, we should. It's apparently pretty good.
We probably should, but
yeah,
I haven't.
It's only 6 episodes.
Yeah. It got like.
Truthfully, I just didn't think I could rope you into it, and I didn't want to force you.
No, you can. I just got to work my way to it.
Yeah.
And
then Eyes of Wakanda, and then that's the last TV show they're doing for a while.
So what's the next movie?
I think it's Doomsday.
Like that's a crazy thought. I mean, that's a year from now.
Yeah.
So we have a year off.
I think this movie. To be honest, can I just say something? I think this year has okay.
You can.
No, I think this year has been incredibly solid for comic book films so far.
Oh yeah.
And I just want to harp on the thing again of like I genuinely don't think there is comic book movie fatigue. I think there is bad movie fatigue.
Yeah, I think James Gunn was kind of talking about that, and with Superman, and I think he's right. I think we're just not. We've evolved past the superhero film we're used to, and we need better superhero films, better films.
I also
better
think
writing and better characters.
There's such a thing as oversaturation, and we're seeing that even with Pedro. I've said this like when Pedro Pascal got cast, like. You can see someone too much, and I think the same goes for a property. And after and I don't think this is a hot take. I think people have talked about this a ton. After Infinity War came out, or I'm sorry, that's not the second one. What's the second? Is that the second one? Endgame came out. Marvel was like, we want $1 billion movie every year. And like, since this movie did $1 billion, every single superhero movie now needs to do $1 billion. And you know what? We're going to put out a bunch of shows because everyone wants it and everyone will watch it. And that'll drive us towards the streaming. And you oversaturated the market. You gave people way too much. They don't care. They can't keep up with it now.
I mean, I think Ironheart is very much proof of that. That's a character.
Well, we've gotten to this point of like, and even like the way people I think talk about even some of their earlier TV show stuff now. I think that stuff's really good. I think
what earlier TV show?
Like WandaVision, Moon Knight, some of the earlier, even I don't like love Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, like I think that stuff's really good, but it got washed out by everything else that was mediocre, and then some bad things that really washed everything out. So you're just left with this kind of feeling from everyone that they just have too much, and I hope that they realize this and rein it in, and they seem to be. And just take your time and make a movie. And, we're seeing it with Doomsday. Apparently the third fucking act isn't written yet, and they're still filming and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't know how real that is.
Confirmed that. I'm like, that's fucking
like, that's just
ridiculous.
So emblematic of what the problems that Marvel have been running into, of the major problems.
I'm kind of glad she, said it, because it's just like, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah. It's
that script should be done, and then they should be doing it. Like, there shouldn't be this shortcut taking to speed things up.
And Fantastic Four does not feel like that at all to me. It felt like a very complete vision from the beginning.
Do we know, can we assume it was not written like that? I don't think we can.
Based off of, I think, how well it's written and how good everything looks, this feels like they actually had a plan before they went into it. Like, I'm sure, it was rewritten once or twice before you were going to production, or even, you have some rewrites on production, which that happens.
Right.
But I would assume that they had this mostly locked in before they did it. They had a clear vision of what they wanted to do, and they just executed on it. So I don't know. I hope so, anyways. Just do that. Just think, we talked about this last night when you were over. Movies used to be, noticeably better because you had to figure out what you were doing before you filmed it. You didn't just film hours of coverage and then piece it together after and be like, oh, actually, we don't want to do this, so we got to refilm all this. oh, you just spent 2 months on this fucking CG scene? We're actually not using that. We want to completely change it. You have a month to change it before the movie comes out. Of course it's going to look like shit. And of course it's not going to feel cohesive. So figure that the fuck out. And I'm sorry, you know, Superman doesn't feel that way to me. Fantastic Four doesn't feel that way to me. So maybe keep fucking doing that, guys. I don't know. Is that hard? I don't make films. I don't know, Gooch. End of trio rant. Anything else, Gooch?
That's it, man.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you all so much for joining us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search our name on your service of choice. We got a Facebook page, a Discord channel, which will all be linked down below for your convenience. We're on also all the social medias as well, at Delco Nerds, on everything with an @ sign. You can find all this information on our website, DelcoNerdNetwork.com. You can even email us your comments, questions, or concerns to DelcoNerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to get back to you. For Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy. We will see you next time.